I thought this was such a good story to turn into a film because while what's at stake is ultimately kind of low stakes in the grand scheme of things because it's just about getting an old car back, it's such high stakes for the person involved as it is her home, and it speaks to such a important systemic issue of how these companies take advantage of people that are struggling and keep them down rather than letting them get back on their feet. What about that story really stood out to you and made you want to adapt it?
The resilience, right? And that and her fight, right? And her charge to say, I'm not giving up. And that she got so far on her own and then realized that she needed a community around her to get farther with it. The real Amanda has told me repeatedly that if someone had said, if at any time someone had said they were sorry, she might have given up. And that really stayed with me. But I think just her, fighting for this, her dignity and in this case her home, that means so much that you could take that on. And I guess the messaging was like, your voice matters. And her story shows it's a perfect example of that. Like, your voice does matter.
Yeah, and I think that's such an important thing to reiterate, with the times we're living in right now.
Yeah.
And obviously, using you and Rose Byrne work together so well and have that working relationship from physical. She also produced this film, and we all know she's a great actress. And it's been so great seeing her like finally get some recognition for how great she is. But what has stood out about her as a creative collaborator? Because she gets to be more involved helping shape projects now.
Yeah, I mean, look, she has incredible taste. I think for she and I, like, why we like to collaborate a lot is that we do have similar taste. And I think are attracted to characters and things that have something to say. Toe certainly does. But Rose is like, as a producer, is the same that you would expect as she is as an actress, where she dives right in, and even looking at early cuts with me and talking about, you know, things about music. I mean, just, all the details matter and they really matter to her. So it's like, so as a whole, it's like, yes, as a, an actress, but then as a producing partner, it's an incredible collaboration.
I love this ending so much. We get to see the real Amanda, her daughter, and Kevin.
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been easy to just spend 20 minutes like showing what happens next in their lives. But in this short scene with the real people, we see that bond and that love is there and that things end up okay. It tells you everything you need to know. So how did you kind of come up with that decision to show the real life counterparts there? Because I thought that was really smart.
Oh, thank you. It's one of my favorite moments because I do think it is kind of a gut punch. 'Cause you're like, now you've seen Rose as Amanda, and now we get to see the real people. And like, the easy thing would have been like, here's some photographs, here's where they are. But instead, it was like, you know what? Let's just have them, not spoiling the ending, but let's have them together. Because you're right, you see the love, they're together, they're okay, and their story continues. And I think that's how I really came up to that idea. Is like, we don't know what's next, what next fight they're all going to have to take on. Much like we don't know what our next fight is, right? But we're going to end them in a hopeful place.